To go at the bottom.
Oh, excuse me. Yep.
Okay, we there?
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to introduce you to a pioneering snowmobile. This is a 1974 Brut that I'll show you its features, but it broke some molds here. This was actually made in Minnesota. It was only 300 cc's, a twin cylinder, but water cooled. So let's talk about that. This Brut, its nexus was former Polaris employees. These employees knew the advantage of water cooling. Now, what is the advantage of water cooling versus a free air, an air-cooled motor? It's consistency. Back in those days, if you could get consistency, you could win races. And, you know, it's arguable that some of these free air machines did fine in the certain right conditions. This provided performance and reliability in all temperature conditions. So water cooling. Polaris Polaris management says, oh, no. That's going to cost extra money and extra weight. And therefore, we're not just going to do it. Guess what? These engineers said, listen, we're going to prove that this is going to work. And they went to town. They went to the town of Brooten, Minnesota, got some economic development money, and developed the Brut snowmobile. So let's get to the heart of the matter here. And I wanted to show you this engine bay. Now, you're going to look at that and say, holy cow, that's kind of strange. Look at the crankcase here and the tag here. This motor is actually sitting darn near horizontal. Now, how can they possibly do that? Well, the truth is because they don't have to have fins or a motor sticking up into the air to catch you know, cooling breeze. They could put the motor where they wanted. Of course, down low means a lower center of gravity. And spread that out. And so that's why this motor looks quite different than other machines of its era. Look at this. All of a sudden now, we need a fan belt to drive a water pump. And of course, hoses. And so Brut went ahead and brought these hoses to this extrusion here. This actually is the cooling. That as the track spun around, it got cooling from the bottom, from the backside, as well as from the outside, and there you have it. The fundamental distinction between the Brut snowmobiles and others. Now they came in two sizes. This actually, you know, is the 294 version. These things did very well. Oh, that's right. The bigger motor had a triple in it. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, this is an example of a 74 with this particular motor in it, and this would have been sized for terrain racing. You can imagine that with this sleek design, with this low center of gravity on the motor, and these performance enhancements, that these things did darn well in those cross-country races. So here we have a very nice original example. I'm looking at the odometer here at 1,331 miles. So this is you know, a correct, an original machine, right down to its galvanized skis. Look at this, and this fancy seat with this bolster. And Brut really proved to the industry that this water cooling, you know, could and does work, and their race-winning, you know, results, of course, kind of woke up the industry, and went to it. You see, with water cooling, you don't have to have a hood with massive, you know, gaping holes in it. This dashboard is rather Spartan because you're not requiring a lot of airflow through that motor and on out of the cowling. So that was the advantage of these Brut snowmobiles. And they were made in Minnesota, in the central Minnesota town, I believe, for about 3 or 4 years. And then they went down you know, sadly, like in that era with the gas crisis and all. And actually, Scorpion made a Brut, you know, variant at their plant up there in Crosby. They actually made some changes that were, you know, better ideas, you know, better designs, but they just got swallowed up with all of the attrition of all those manufacturers back in the day. Now, the Brut clubs are very active. Let me tell you, this brand has got a tremendous following, and I just wanted to show you that it's distinctive in its look, certainly. But the key advantage to this machine was that water cooling and the new technology, the new paradigm that it brought to the entire industry. So I want to thank you for listening to this and show you this 74 Brut.